there, everyone. It's Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is the August 18th edition of AEW Dynamite. We are heading into a big week in professional wrestling all across the board. So this episode of Dynamite kind of had that extra, special feel to it. The crowd was extremely hot. They were in Houston, Texas today. And man, this crowd really knocked it out of the park. I thought top to bottom, they helped bring this show, and they helped it make it feel more special. So good job to the crowd, man. We got a lot of people saying that they really enjoyed today's episode of AEW Dynamite. This kind of in a strange way, even though it wasn't billed this way, in a weird way, it kind of felt like the go-home show to Rampage, if that makes any sense at all. But because we're all looking forward to Rampage on Friday night, and it's going to be such a big deal, this kind of felt like the go-home show to that. Even though it technically wasn't, that's exactly what it felt like. But either way, we're going to run down the entire show here today. For those of you who are new to this stream, just know that this is a very interactive show. Send in your comments, send in your questions, send in your statements, whatever you please. Feel free to send in super chats. If you do send in a super chat, I will make sure to read your comment here on the stream. Guys, so before I start talking about Dynamite here today, I kind of just want to give you guys a brief rundown of what is going on this week. So first and foremost, after today, tomorrow morning, I'm literally leaving my house probably around 4 a.m. to LAX, and I'm flying out to Las Vegas. I will be in Las Vegas by 9 a.m. And then after that, I'm essentially going to be covering the media, the WWE tryout. So I'm going to be giving you guys all of the information about that over on my Twitter account. So that's going to be very fun. Then Friday, I have a WWE media junket that I will be doing that day. And then later on in the night, I will be covering Smackdown and Rampage, that big show where we're all expecting to see CM Punk. And I'm going to be doing my post show from my hotel room in Las Vegas. So I am pre-apologizing to everybody because it's obviously not going to look the way it normally does. So bear with me this Friday. My setup is going to look and sound a little differently, but it'll still hopefully be a very, very good show because we'll have plenty to talk about. And then Saturday, I will be at SummerSlam. After SummerSlam, I will be attending the SummerSlam after party. So it's literally going to be event after event after event these next couple of days. But let's see what we're getting here, guys. What did you think of Dynamite here today? Send in some overall thoughts and comments, and I'll go ahead start by reading some of those, and then we'll get into the entire show in a nice chronological format, which is what we normally do. Labor Days wants to know when I sleep. I have no idea. Literally after this, I gotta pack. I gotta do so much. I'm not even ready to fly out tomorrow, so we'll see what goes down on all of this. And we're gonna get into this, guys, because we got a comment from JN Crane who says, why don't you care about Brock versus Black? That match would be an insane squash. So first and foremost, for those of you guys who maybe didn't watch AEW Dynamite for some odd reason, and you're coming in here and you're like, Denise isn't interested in Malachi Black versus Brock Lesnar? Well, it definitely isn't Brock Lesnar. We're talking about Brock Anderson, and I stand by my statement, all right? I stand by my statement. I am 0.0% interested in seeing Malachi Black versus Brock Anderson, all right? I said I'd be honest with you guys on these shows, and I'm going to be completely honest. I could care less. I will talk about that later on, and I'll give my reasonings as to why, but I am saying that I am sticking to that statement even if it gets me heat. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. We're getting so much stuff going on here, but I'm going to send in read some comments about your overall opinions on the show here. We got a comment from Pomi who says, another great show. Spears versus Guevara was match of the night. Are we getting Miro versus Eddie Kingston on the New York show? ? I do not know if that's the match we're getting at the New York show, but I do have to say that Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara was absolutely awesome. We got a super chat from Sam Pyboon who says, do you know why Chris Jericho tapped out to MJF tonight? No, I wish I had the answers for you, but I really don't. I was not expecting Chris Jericho to lose here tonight. And, he's made it all of this way, into this match with MJF, and now he lost. I was not expecting this. I really wasn't. So I'm as surprised as everybody else is here. So I guess we'll have to find out. Thank you so much to Sam for sending in this first super chat of the day, BTW. Let's see what else we got here. A comment from Jonathan Rendon, who says that the fans singing Judas was awesome tonight. It kind of started off a little bit rocky, but you know what? Once they got to the chorus, the crowd got together, they synchronized, and they found their beat, they found their rhythm. And Marky Dark is saying, dang, Denise is shooting hard. You know what, guys? Here's the thing about me, all right? Is that I come on here, I do these shows. Sometimes it's very terrifying to put out your real opinion out there. Sometimes, there's times where I'm like, you know what? Let me sugarcoat this. I'm going to be a little nice about this because I don't feel like taking heat. I really don't. But there are some days where I just got to be honest and say what I don't like. That's the point of this, not the point of the show, but you get me. You got to be honest about how you feel about things. So we'll get to that anyways. I'll explain myself later on before I get attacked. All right, we got a super chat from Todo For Real, who says, what's the logic behind using a bat but not a Judas effect with the ref distracted? I think that it was essentially, Jericho has been finding all of these ways to essentially, get the win. But this time, even though we thought, okay, I thought that was to swerve the audience. I thought it was meant to swerve the audience and saying like, okay, he can use the Judas effect, so maybe he's going to find a different way to get the win here. But then in turn, that did not happen. So I think it was just a little moment in there to swerve the audience. We got another super chat from Amir Al-Karani, who says, Tony Khan in a Chicago flag Speedo announcing AEW ice cream bars on Impact tomorrow, ? I have no idea where you're getting at with this, Amir, but thank you so much for sending in this super chat here today. I really, really appreciate it, guys. All right, so we're getting plenty of comments, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the actual show, and we'll talk about things in chronological format as we go through this. So here we go, guys. We started off AEW Dynamite today with a really, really fun matchup here. And the first match that we had today was Sting and Darby Allin versus 2.0 in a Texas Tornado match. And this was essentially, the show was supposed to kick off with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, but they were attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia prior to them even getting to the ring. And so they ended up getting on the mic and starting this match instantly with Sting and Darby Allin. What I appreciated from this and the way that it got started was that we kind of saw Darby return the favor to 2.0. So what I mean by this is they came out, they attacked Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley ahead of this, right? To get their match started. Okay. And then we had Sting coming out. Then when we thought Darby was going to come out, instead Darby came from the back, came from behind them, and ended up attacking them into getting this match started. So I kind of thought that it was a nice little poetic justice here to kick off this match. I was a fan of this. They end up going into the crowd. They brawl around the crowd. They end up going, where all of the fans are at. They make their way over to the steps and the concrete steps that they have there. I forget what those things are called, but they go there. We see Darby Allin literally leap himself off of the concrete area from the crowd section. I forget what those things are called. Dang it. But anyways, that was a pretty fun moment here. We got the crowd literally chanting, "You still got it" at Sting. When I say that this crowd was fire, they were fire here. After this, we essentially had they've not only brawled throughout the crowd, but they also brawled throughout the back area, but kind of where the concessions are at, because you see all of the fans there. They don't go necessarily by the concession area, but they're still within that general vicinity. And so you get to see them go at it there. And here's the thing that I wanted to bring up and why I actually like that they had this match. So 2.0, formerly known as Everrise, over on WWE. I hate to say it, but they were presented in a very vanilla sort of way. Very, very boring. I never really saw anything from them in terms of something that I felt that I was interested in, something that made me want to be a fan. Never saw it from them. Tonight was the first night where I kind of thought, you know what? 2.0 may have something. This was the first time where I genuinely thought that I had some interest in these guys. And I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that, you give them some mic time. They had a little bit of mic time here today. You had them do that sneak attack, which was unexpected. And then you have them in this, in this match that is obviously going to have a nice, amount of violence. So I appreciated that they kind of brought a different light to what we normally or what we have seen from them before. So I will say I was a fan of this here today. Then we saw Eddie Kingston essentially make his way out, and he ends up attacking Daniel Garcia. And I like that they did this, because if Eddie Kingston is going to get attacked, he isn't just going to go to the back and forget about it. He's going to come out, he's going to get his revenge. And so I really liked that they actually went ahead and had him essentially sort of take him out of the picture here today. So this was good. We saw 2.0 superplex Darby Allin onto his skateboard while they were on the ramp. That was a really fun spot. I enjoyed that. And then for the finish, so I liked the finish, but I saw several people on Twitter telling me that they did not like this. But I gotta say, I'm gonna disagree with those people. I loved this finish. So we saw Sting get power bombed onto the table by 2.0, and then I literally looked down. I type out on my Twitter, Sting got power bombed through the table, right? And then I look back up, and Sting is back up. So I'm like, okay, he totally no-sold this. He just got right back up. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a great moment. And I tweeted that out, and then suddenly I started seeing a bunch of comments from people saying they didn't like this, and I'm like, nah, you know what? This is Sting. This is not something new that Sting hasn't done before. And I like this. I was a fan of it. I thought that it really made Sting feel even more special. And that's the thing. The fans want these special moments, especially when it comes to Sting. You have a different aura with him. And that's what we got from this. So the crowd starts chanting, holy shit, over this moment. And then we have essentially Sting get both members of 2.0 in a double Scorpion Deathlock. So he got that going in on both of them. And that's how he ended up winning this match. I love this. I thought this was awesome. What did you guys think? Do you agree with me in terms of how this finish ended? Were you a fan? Were you not a fan? Go ahead and let me know, guys. All right, so here we go. We got a super chat from Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury. Thank you so much to Flamethrower, who says, it's easy, Denise. Say what you think, but make it sound like a joke. It works for me. Well, you know what? I just say things the way that they come out. The way they come out is the way they come out. But thank you so much to Flamethrower for sending in this encouraging super chat that we got here. And I'm going to scroll back down, and we got another super chat from Daniel Zambrano. Thank you so much to Daniel, who says, that finish was awesome. No selling a table in a match that actually put over the guys he beat. Perfect booking. I thought it was fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. We got people saying here that Sting is 62 years old and shouldn't be wrestling. I'm sorry, but Sting is still, he has proven that he's not going out there and having these matches every single week, every single night. He's not doing that. He's having these sporadic matches. He's not going out there and killing himself. He's going out there and he's getting his moments and he's getting his shit in. And you know what? It's coming off as very exciting. I mean, at Double or Nothing, let's not forget that Cody Rhodes, Anthony Ogogo match literally killed the entire crowd for the following two matches. And it wasn't until Sting came back on that card and brought the crowd back to life, man. So you know what? I'm all for Sting going out there and doing his thing while he still can, man. Thank you so much to Daniel Zambrano for sending in this super chat here. Let's see what else we got here. We got so many comments on this, guys. Another super chat from Brent M, who says, as if there wasn't enough hints about Punk's debut, tonight's first dance promo said something like Darby Allin tries to become best in the world. So they have definitely been doing the best in the world thing with Darby Allin. They had him do that promo a couple weeks ago. And that same night that they announced the first dance and Rampage and all of that. And I think it was last on the episode of the debut episode of Rampage was when they also re-showed that promo from Darby Allin. Then we had the whole Cookie Monster Kenny Omega thing. Tonight we also had Kenny Omega wearing that Chick Magnet shirt, CM Chick Magnet, that too. And then I did have one other thing. So I got an email today from AEW, and they are doing a media conference thing immediately following AEW Rampage. And I'm like, all right, why are you doing this, huh? You know we're going to have things to talk about from that show. I wasn't expecting to get an email saying that they're going to be having a media conference after this event. So that's another thing to add on top of this. If you're still one of those random people that are like, nah, CM Punk's not coming out, I feel like there's just too much information, too much out there for you to not believe that he is going to be coming out. I'm so sure that CM Punk is making his debut on Rampage this Friday that I already put his face on my thumbnail, and that's already up on YouTube, and it's already scheduled. So now CM Punk has to come out, or I'm going to have to change my YouTube thumbnail. Thank you so much to Brent M for sending in this super chat. I really thank you so much for this too. And we got so many people here. So guys, here's the problem. The Keys booth says, Denise, call in and ask some questions for us. So I don't think I'm going to be able to call in, guys, because the media call is taking place immediately after the show ends, and I'm going to be here chatting with all of you guys about the show. So I'm probably going to be missing the media call. I'll figure out if I can have somebody listen in for me. That would be fantastic. Now I just got to find somebody to do that and to maybe tweet on my behalf or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out, guys. I'll figure it out. And let's see what else we got here. And, all right, I think we got pretty much everything here, guys. Again, if I missed your comment, please resend it in. You can copy and paste it. I'll try to get a couple of your guys' comments in as much as I possibly can here. All right, here we go. But let's move on because after this, we got someone says to put us off. No, I would feel terrible, guys. People are telling me to go in to listen to the call and they'd be okay with the delay. Oh, man. I would literally be going on at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is, let me see, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. It was like midnight. Sorry, guys, I'm really bad at math. That'd be like really late Eastern time, guys. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm either going to push it back the stream an hour or I'm just going to come on here and do the show. We'll see what happens, guys. This is a problem. I'm literally like so much is happening and I got to start making decisions on what I do and what I don't do. So I'm sorry, guys. Only got one person here. All right, here we go, guys. After this, we had a quick highlight video because Sammy Guevara earlier on in the night proposed to his girlfriend Pam, and now they are officially engaged. You can find the full video over on social media, and I'm sure it's up on their YouTube channel. I did not check, but I did see it on social media if you want to see the entire thing. So congratulations to Sammy Guevara and to Pam because they are now engaged. Really special moment there. Exciting, especially to do it in Houston, Texas. I'm sure that meant a whole lot to them. So after this, we get into this match with Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara. And as somebody said earlier in the stream, this was probably one of the best matches of the night. And I have to agree. And I think that this wasn't like, usually I feel when we say like, oh, best matches of the night, you usually think it's a very long match. They told an entire story. There's usually a formula that you expect from those best of the night matches. However, this one was a little bit different. This one to me, it got started really hot, fast, and, right away, we had a lot go down. It wasn't a long match is what I'm trying to get at. But here's the thing though, is that I need to give credit here to Sammy. And the reason for that is he brings in this extra level of energy into his matches. And this is not to take away anything from Shawn Spears, but I just need to address the fact that Sammy really brings this energy into his matches where everything he does, every little move that he does, whatever he does is sort of amplified by like 20 times more because he just does it with this extra, I don't know, man, the guy has his batteries on. I have no idea how to explain this, but I feel that, if you watch Sammy's matches, you obviously know what I'm trying to say here because you do see this. So before this actual match though, we had the camera cut to a promo with Shawn Spears and Tully Blanchard, and Spears essentially congratulates Sammy Guevara on, his engagement, and he tells his now fiance that she can be an honorary member of the Pinnacle for one night. Make that what you will of that comment. After this, we do see Spears and Sammy get this match started. Before the match even starts, before the bell rings, we see Sammy and Shawn Spears going at it. We see Sammy do he's on the ramp and he does a running forward flip onto Spears. That was a really awesome moment. And again, within those couple of seconds, you know what I mean with that energy from Sammy Spears. From Sammy Spears. From Sammy Guevara. Oh, man. And then Tully Blanchard ends up getting involved in this match. Aubrey tells him to, get out of here. She tells him to, get out. She wants him removed from this match. And my favorite part in this was when we see Tully Blanchard react like a little kid. He takes off his sports coat or his sports jacket and he starts kind of like hitting it towards Aubrey. And he's like getting the ropes and like a little bit of her arm. But I thought it was kind of hilarious. It reminded me of a very, very angry child with his mom. Mom says we can't go to McDonald's. Kid lashes out. That is exactly what I got from this. We go to a commercial break. We come back. And after this commercial break is really when things start to level up during this match. We see both of them go to the top rope. Sammy Guevara hits a cutter from the top rope. A really awesome moment. We see Spears hit the C4 on Sammy from the top rope. There's a portion of the barricade. The barricade is literally placed between the ring and the barricade. So it's laying on top like a table, and they have that set up for a while there, so you just know that something is gonna happen. Eventually, Sammy ends up putting Shawn Spears through that barricade. The barricade bends. They get back in the ring. Sammy Guevara hits the 630 senton, and this is where I truly think the match should have ended. I thought that the match had that been the finish after that 630 senton, I think that should have been the perfect finish because it had all of this adrenaline, such a good exclamation point to this match, but it ends up being a 2 count. So personally, I do think that should have been the finish, but it wasn't. After this, we go on just a little bit more. We see Guevara hit Spears with 3 knees to the head. Spears ends up getting busted open during this, and then Sammy ends up hitting the go to hell, and that is how he eventually wins. So this was a very, very exciting match. Afterwards, you see Sammy go to his fiance, gives her a kiss. Really nice moment. If you did not watch AEW Dynamite tonight for some odd reason, this is the match to watch because it was a whole lot of fun. Let's see what you guys did. What did you guys think of this? What did you think of Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara? Was it match of the night? We got a super chat from Nathan Tipton who says, do the show late, Denise. Get on that call. We listen to Wrestling Observer Radio and Brian and Vinny way later on the East Coast. That is true. That is true. I'll figure that out, guys. If I make the changes, you'll see it on YouTube and I'll announce it on Twitter. Okay. So thank you. I didn't want to leave people hanging, guys. I really, really did not. Like, I put a lot of work into this show, and I know that a part of the show's success is, obviously keeping within that same time slot. And this show's already been pushed back because of Rampage. So then to be pushed back again another hour is like, it's one time only, but still. Anyways, thank you so much to Nathan Tipton for the approval. Thank you. Oh, no, for the permission. Thank you so much for the permission. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to scroll through your comments here, and I'm going to make sure I get what you guys are saying, about this match here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Stephen Creamer says match was good, but Spears kicking out to the 630 was just pointless and silly. I got to agree with you. I didn't like him kicking out to the 630. That should have been the finish. Thank you so much. I'm glad that I wasn't the only person who felt this way. I'm really, really glad. Al Profet Jr. 88 also says, quote, that the crowd kind of died after that 630. I don't think they died because they were really, really like on it. Like, they were on it, guys. The crowd was they had their batteries on. But no, it just didn't feel like the moment would have felt more special after that 630, and it would have felt more believable versus the way that they did do it afterwards. And let's see what else we got here. All right, I'm going to go through a couple more comments, but I think I got most of everything here that I wanted to read, guys. Again, if you want to make sure your comment gets read on this stream, feel free to send in a super chat, and I will make sure to read your comment here on the show. We are getting lots of comments, and sometimes it's hard to point out which ones are going to contribute to the conversation conversation. So you guys can definitely do that. And let's move on, though. In the meantime, we're going to move on because after this, we had an interview with Christian Cage and Tony Schiavone. This one, it was what it was, but let's highlight the main points here. So we had Christian Cage doing an interview with Tony Schiavone backstage. Before Tony Schiavone could even get his question in, you have Don Callis chiming in. You know, Don Callis essentially being his normal self. He starts to tell him that he hasn't seen him in 25 years. And good for him. Good for everything he's done. He mentions giving him his break back in wrestling 25 years ago in Canada. And Christian is obviously, he knows that, Don Callis is pretending to be a nice guy right now. Pretending. But we all know Don Callis isn't a nice guy. We all know that. Christian knows that. And Christian just looks at him flat in the eye and says that he's a carny piece of shit. And that's what went down in this segment. But either way, I like this. It was fine. It was harmless. And let's see what else we got here, guys. So much. Oh, I need to read this. The Keys Boo says, Tony Schiavone earned his money tonight. How many times did we see Tony Schiavone today? I feel like usually we see him a lot throughout the shows, but tonight he was everywhere, man. He was everywhere. I think he had at least like 5 segments. I don't even know. I lost count. But he was definitely somebody that you saw a lot during tonight's show. 100% here. We got a comment from Hector Rodriguez who says that, he says, quote, I've only seen the barricade spot one time during an old school Raw, and it was nasty. I did like that barricade spot during that Sammy Shawn Spears match. Really good stuff there. Really liked it. All right. We're going to move on from this, guys. After this, we had a quick promo/vignette from Dante Martin. Dante Martin was a breakout star last week. We came on here. We said nothing but good things about him. Very happy for him. He had a very shining moment, a star-making performance last week. And I like that they followed up it was maybe like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't know how long this went, but it was very, very short. But they just recapped what happened last week, who he is, and then he cuts a little promo and he basically says that he's going to be the name that everybody knows. It wasn't like a breakout promo by any means. It wasn't blow away, but it was fine. It kept the name at the top of my memory bank and on top of the memory banks of those watching the show. So I liked that they incorporated Dante Martin into the show the way they did today. And let's see what else we got here. We got a comment from Karen Nova who says that this episode definitely felt like a huge rush of storyline snippets. We got a lot. There was a couple of vignettes that occurred on this show that I didn't even write down because I was like, all right, well, there really isn't much there. It's happening, but they're speeding up the show. It feels a lot faster than it did before. And I know this because do you guys remember Wednesday Night Wars? I used to watch NXT and AEW at the exact same time. And I didn't feel like there was that much stuff happening on Dynamite then because I was able to keep track of it all. And now that I'm watching just this show by itself, there's so much happening where I'm like, was it always like this? I feel like they've just sped it up so much more where there's a lot happening on the show. It kind of drives me a little nuts sometimes because it's just too much. As somebody who's like keeping notes, it's kind of hard sometimes to keep track of everything, but I do my best. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Screamer06 who points out that the Starks Cage segment felt super rushed. It didn't just feel super rushed. It felt incomplete too. It felt very incomplete where I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, there's only so much to say about that, but we'll get into that in just a second. But thank you so much to everybody who is sending in their thoughts on all of this. Here we go. And let's see, we're going to jump into this next segment. I am interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on this one here, because I don't think that a lot of people were necessarily completely wild about this segment. I like this mainly because I really like Dan Lambert on the mic. Oh, I just love him. I could listen to him basically go on a rant all day. He goes on a rant very, very well. And I did see some people on social media that were kind of like, not really feeling this. There are some portions of this that I was not that crazy about. Not the actual execution of this, more so where this is headed. That's where I'm not completely crazy about this. But anyways, let me explain what went down. So we had Tony Schiavone again. He comes out with he's there with Dan Lambert. They're in the ring. Dan Lambert has with him Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky. I hope I said his name correctly. But anyways, he's with them there. And Dan Lambert goes on a rant. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of the main points of what he said during this promo. But essentially, he said that AEW has jumped aboard the cancel culture train, and he addresses this cancel culture a lot. Make of that what you will, but this to me felt kind of like a older gentleman sort of, imposing his views on the newer young generation. Like that's what this promo felt like, because he even starts to say, he starts to trash AEW, and he says, AEW is not the answer to your wrestling prayers. And he said something similar the last time that he was here. That's what he's doing. That's his gist. That's great. I like that. Then he starts to say that he feels that he's been silenced and that millennials are soft and that they're easily triggered. And so that's what we're starting to see where he's headed. I liked all of that. I liked the fact that he's coming in here and he's kind of like this bitter old man who doesn't like how things are being run now. I like that aspect of it. But then he says that Dos Santos and Arlovsky are ready for a fight. And then he calls out the roster and basically says that the AEW roster is just a bunch of wannabe tough guys. Now, if they are going to be doing some sort of match, some sort of fight with these guys, I'm not necessarily crazy about that, okay? And the reason for that is, yeah, these guys are former UFC champions. Cool. But from what I know, I don't even know if they're wrestling fans. I think they're like in their 40s already. I don't think they've ever done a wrestling match that I know of. So this, for me, if these guys are going to be having some sort of match on AEW, I'm not interested right now. I just don't see how that can be good. And so I like everything that Dan Lambert is bringing in terms of the mic and the promo work, but where this is headed, I'm going to need a little bit more convincing. So that's how I feel about this. So BTW, before this segment actually ended, we had Lance Archer coming out, but before he could even get to the ring, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out and attack him. So we'll see where this is headed. Where do you think this is headed? How do you feel about this? Are you guys digging this? Or are you not digging this? Send in your thoughts, guys. All right, let's see what you guys are all saying here. Screamer06 says, got to get that coverage from MMA websites, I suppose. And Gary Barr says, personally, I really don't believe Andre and JDS are ever going to wrestle. This was definitely an alley-oop for Men of the Year. I hope so. Just when they said that they were ready for a fight, it got me thinking that this was the direction that they were going in. Personally, I hope it's not the direction that they're going in. We got a comment from Cody Anderson who says, I was fully expecting Hager to come out. That combo with Punk on Friday, and we could see a tag team UFC match. Based on what they did earlier with that fight, I don't want to see another MMA fight on AEW. I was not a fan of that. So I'll just say that I'm not a fan of that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Any more other comments here? And yeah, somebody were just basically saying that Lambert's promos always work because they're really, really good here. Really, really good stuff. And we got a comment from Taza Mary who says, I really hope this guy isn't associated with Punk in any way. I agree. I do not want any of that. And let's see what else we got here. Marky Dark One says, you're right. Now that I hear you repeating everything, it was a lot of small segments crammed into this show. There was a lot of small segments that were crammed into this show, and you're going to hear about it more as we continue on with the rest of the show. And let me see what else we got here from other people. Wrestling with Art says having them is way better than having Shaq. I don't know about that. I don't know if I totally agree with that. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I'm not like pro that comment. I'm not anti that comment. I don't know. All right, we're moving on, guys. Let's see. So after this, where are we at after this? Man, all right, here we go. This is a portion of the show that I definitely enjoyed and I knew that I was going to enjoy. And I even came on here last week and I said, this is going to be the match that I am most looking forward to. And I think you guys can guess it. Come on, say it with me now. You know which match it is. It's the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Team titles. Oh, man. All right. This was a lot of fun, guys. And I think we all already expected that. We know that the Bucks and, Jurassic Express, they have a good time in the ring. And you're going to get a fun match with a bunch of different spots and all of that stuff. So let's kind of talk a little bit about what happened here. We saw Nick Jackson and Jungle Boy kick off this match. Nick ends up on the outside of the ring. He starts being all cocky. He's using that spray underneath his arms. He's spraying his underarms. A little distracted, not really paying much attention to Jungle Boy. So Jungle Boy just does a dive right onto him. We see later on in this match, we see Matt Jackson do a crossbody onto Luchasaurus to the outside. After the commercial break, we see Luchasaurus take on both the Young Bucks with several strikes. We see Nick hit Luchasaurus with an enziguri. They do a brain buster off the top rope on Nick Jackson. We see Luchasaurus do a double chokeslam on the Young Bucks. We see Jungle Boy do a tope suicida on Nick Jackson. Luchasaurus then utilizes that moment to go for the pin, but he ends up getting a 2 count there. We see a double super kick from the Bucks to Luchasaurus. And this is the point of the match where I'm starting to think, because there was probably maybe like 3 moments in this match where I genuinely thought that Jurassic Express was going to win this match. Like, they completely fooled me during those moments. And I thought, oh, this is it. They're going to have them become champions. And I didn't really expect them to become champions, but they did a good job in this match where they kind of made me think that they were going to become champions. So during this match, we also see the Elite get involved, all the members. So it ends up starting to feel like, it's Jurassic Express against all members of the Elite. We see Christian Cage coming out. He takes out Kenny Omega. They brawl to the back for a second. We continue on to this match. Again, I'm starting to think that we are going to see Jurassic Express win this match, but we don't. We see Luchasaurus take out the members of the Elite with a moonsault, but in the ring, we see a BTE trigger from the Bucks to Jungle Boy, and that is how they are able to get the win. So again, this was a fun match that, because of all the obstacles Jurassic Express had with them, essentially practically taking on all the members of the Elite at some point, I like that this protected them in the way that, yeah, they didn't win the titles, but let's be fair, they had a lot of obstacles in this match to get through. And so I was a fan of how they sort of played this out and how they protected Jurassic Express in the end. So this was fun. I got into it. They sold me, man. Post-match, we do see Christian and Kenny come back to the ring. We see the Elite essentially continue to take out Christian Cage. Kenny Omega essentially taking out Christian Cage during this. And again, we get a closer look at that chick magnet t-shirt. So good stuff all around here. How did you guys feel about this match? Let's see what we got here. We got people saying, damn the referee. Exactly. And we got a comment from Daniel who says that there were a lot of spots and shenanigans, but the story of the Elite being dominant through the numbers was certainly there. Exactly. They did a lot to make you think that the Jurassic Express was going to take the win, but they also gave them a lot where you're like, I understand why they lost. So it was perfectly fine. I very much like this. Our Rig says, very well worked match. I did buy that the title might change. I think this was a way to get a cage match with the Lucha Bros. And we'll talk about the tag team eliminator tournament in just a second. We'll talk about that in a moment. And I'm going to go through a couple more comments. This one is from Robert Bailey Jr., who says, He says it should be Jurassic Express versus Young Bucks in the cage in Chicago. The pop Jurassic Express will get for finally beating the Elite will be epic. I think so too. I think that they are the right guys. I mean, we all know that tag team division in AEW is jam-packed, but I do think that Jurassic Express are those guys to get that, to take it all the way. But we'll see what happens with all of that. We got a comment from Screamer who says the only team that makes sense beating Young Bucks now is Proud and Powerful. I still think that Jurassic Express has a leg in there, for sure. And all right, we're going to go ahead and move on with all of this here. Really quickly, we have a backstage segment with Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, they came to AEW, returned to AEW on the AEW Rampage show, the premiere show. She aligned herself with Britt Baker. Britt Baker had made a tease that she was going to be bringing in extra help with her, and ended up being Jamie. And from the looks of it, I'm see, I don't know if I'm crazy about it so far, but I mean, then again, it's just been one promo, but it's been fun. I kind of like the idea of Britt Baker forming this like super group where she's like the main star, obviously, as the champion and all of that. So I do like what they're going with because it's kind of totally different and nobody else is really doing anything like this right now So I like this, but essentially, Jamie Hayter says, she says, quote, ask Red Velvet and Chris Statlander what it's like to be at the end of my boot. And then she also dared Statlander to face her next week. Baker said that gold isn't Red Velvet's color whatsoever. And that's a shot because Red Velvet had told Britt Baker that gold was not her color and that maybe they're going to have some fun in Milwaukee next week. So we'll get to that because they did announce several matches for both Rampage and AEW Dynamite, which we'll talk about in just a second. And let's see what else we got here. We got a lot of comments about Jamie. This one's from Gary, who says that Jamie Hayter is money. She's got the look. She's got the accent. Is boon to her promos and she can work. I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm liking her so far. Like, I feel like she's I've only seen very little from her. So based on what I've seen, it's perfectly good, perfectly okay. Obviously, we'll see more down the line. And Sean MG says, it would be cool if they make an all-female faction. That kind of feels like what they're doing. That does feel like what they're doing. Yeah, and that's why exactly what I'm saying, that it feels different. I like this. And Alex Lynn also says that, yeah, this is something that, she's liked and is asking basically when's the last time we had like a big all-women's wrestling stable with more than like 2 people. That's a very good question. Let's see what else we got here. More people just pointing out that they like Jamie Hayter. I'm all for this, guys. I'm all for this. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on, though, in the meantime. We got so much to talk about, guys. Holy moly. All right, so before we actually move into the next couple of topics that we have here, really quickly, just a friendly reminder, everybody, that this Friday, I will be streaming live from my Las Vegas hotel room. So my setup will not be looking as beautiful as it normally does. So if you come in on Friday and you're like, where's Denise at? This looks terrible. Please do not mind me. I'm going to take my lights with me, so at least I will be lit, but I have no idea what my background's going to be. It's probably just going to be a very sad wall or like just your ordinary hotel room. But either way, come on in because I will be talking about both Smackdown and AEW Rampage. The first dance taking place. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tony Schiavone introduces Paul White. And oh God, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of this either. I hate to sound like a negative Nancy, but I'm not a fan of this. And I said this last week, so you guys should not really be surprised that I'm not feeling Paul White versus QT Marshall. And we knew last week that this is where they were headed, and they officially made this match official for AEW All Out. QT Marshall versus Paul White. Yay. All right. Paul comes out. He says he has a huge announcement that he's excited to share with us. I'm assuming it's the one that he makes by the end of the night, by the end of this promo, rather. And he's interrupted by QT Marshall. QT comes out with Aaron and Nick. QT tells Paul that he doesn't know how he did it the first 4 decades of his career, but over in AEW, he says, quote, we don't say things to build up the fans' expectations, just to let them down. Yes, that was a shot at WWE for false advertising on a lot of their shows, so that was definitely a shot. QT then tells them that there's a reason. He basically tries to burn Paul White here, and he tells him that there's a reason why Tony Khan hired you to be an announcer instead of a wrestler going for championship belts. I actually thought that was a pretty good line, so kudos to QT Marshall on that line, because that one was actually a pretty good one. But then Paul White starts to tell him, like, you're starting to make me upset here. And the way that Paul White said that line was pretty hilarious. But then QT starts to show x-rays and like images of Paul White's hip and like I think the first one was the knee. I forgot. He shows an x-ray, okay? He's basically trying to get the point across that Paul White is beat down, that he can't be coming out here and having these matches, etc. And then after this, we essentially have Paul White announcing that their match is official. So this necessarily wasn't the hottest segment. This wasn't leading into the hottest match at AEW All Out, but it happened. It's on the show. What did you guys think about this? We got somebody saying, Lalit saying card is subject to change. We got Haj Galashi saying, wasn't that a shot at AEW when Paul had his Hall of Fame caliber announcement? I didn't see it like that. I actually saw it as a shot to WWE. So make what you will of that then, if you saw it or didn't see it as a shot, excuse me. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, a lot of people did not like seeing Paul White in those stitches. I can imagine that stitches make some people feel uncomfortable. I agree with all of that. And Twitch Face just says it was a segment. It really wasn't anything crazy. All right, somebody that liked it. Iron Ice Corey says he liked it. Paul White actually sounded like a human on a promo. It'll probably be a quick squash. No big deal. It better be a quick squash. I don't want to see anything more than that, Corey. So thank you so much for being the positive person on this stream instead of me. We have a lot of people that are just not interested in this, guys. I've only seen one person on this chat, and that was Iron Ice Corey. He wins a medal for today, putting over this segment. I'm not seeing anybody else saying anything good about this. All right, so I'm moving on. This person says no more 15-minute matches of QT Marshall. And I'm sure I feel bad. I'm sorry. It's just the people are not interested. At least the majority of the people are not interested. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to go ahead and move on from this. All right, so after this segment here, this next portion of the show, this one sort of felt a little incomplete. So there's only going to be so much that actually happened here, but we see Taz and Hook coming out. They introduce Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks comes out. Starks says that he's going to bring out Brian Cage to talk, but then the camera cuts to a backstage shot where instead of Brian Cage making his way out, we see Powerhouse Hobbs standing over Brian Cage like he just took him out. So the assumption is here that Powerhouse Hobbs attacked Brian Cage. That's where I'm getting at with this. And then we see Team Taz essentially going to the back, going backstage, and that was kind of it. There really isn't much to say about that, guys. There really isn't. This segment kind of felt like a little, it definitely felt incomplete to me. So I'm sorry. This one wasn't really much of anything. Brandon says that this felt like a throwaway segment. It did. There really wasn't much that I got from it or much that I even want to say about this. And we got a question from Hibumaro who says, why don't they let Ricky cut longer promos? I don't know, because Ricky Starks is a great promo. I really like his charisma. I think he has a lot of good, I think he's very good on the mic, and he has this very, bougie type of persona where you're just like, oh, I hate that guy. And it makes me like him. It makes me like him because it's so easy to dislike him. So I'm a fan of Ricky Starks, and I would like to see them, kind of take him to that next level. He's definitely one of those people that could. Jared Robertson says, it felt like something went long and this got partially cut. Yeah, maybe it was that long x-ray talk between QT Marshall and Paul White. We couldn't finish this segment. Gary says, I like all the elements of this angle. It needs significantly more time in the oven. It does, especially because you also got Taz. Taz is also great on the mic. So you got Taz who's great on the mic. You got Ricky Starks who's great on the mic. You got Brian Cage who's impressive as hell. There you go. Thank you. This is a good way to put it. Starks is the perfect prick heel. Exactly. Perfect prick heel. Daniel says, it bugs me that they haven't built up Ricky Brian Cage well. Those two dudes are fantastic and Ricky is hilarious. I feel that almost everything with Brian Cage has been sort of been put on the back burner. I feel like every storyline that he's been in, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm forgetting something, but I feel like everything that he does is always in the shadows of everything else. It's never like on the forefront in terms of like the stories that we're most looking forward to. And I want to be interested. I am interested in Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, but only to a certain extent because they haven't really done much with them on Dynamite. And you got that from this very rather short and complete segment that we got here today. And we got people asking how Hook is getting more screen time than Brian Cage because Hook has great hair. That's why. That's the answer, guys. That's the answer. And we got a comment from Iron Ice Corey who says, can't get into the whole Team Taz thing. Why are we supposed to care about the FTW title? No, Corey, no, you're supposed to be the positive one on this stream. What happened? But no, I agree with you. They're not giving us much to get into the FTW title. It felt like a good idea. They brought it in and then it kind of just, again, went to the back burner in the shadows. All right, went to the shadows. Sean Harrington says Ricky Starks uses Taz to put him over, making him a bigger star, uses Hobbs. Ricky Starks uses Taz to put him over, making him a bigger star, uses Hobbs and Hook to make life easier for him. It is the ingredients for ego. Yeah, I like that. All right, good way of putting it. Thank you so much to Sean Harrington for sending this in. Alrighty, everybody, here we go. Let's move on because after this, we got another segment with Tony Schiavone, who was the star of the night. He was just hustling all over the place. The Elite were backstage with Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone essentially tells him that Tony Khan's had enough and that there's going to be a tag team eliminator tournament taking place with the winner facing off against the Young Bucks at All Out in a steel cage. Now, I did not write all of the tag teams that were in this, my bad, but they did already announce that the first match that is taking place next week, is Varsity Blondes versus Lucha Brothers in the Eliminator Tournament. So we are going to be getting that one next week. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. And that one should be pretty fun here. And yeah, everybody's just pointing out that Tony Schiavone is teleporting everywhere. He is everywhere. All right, moving on from this, we got another segment. Dang, man, I just realized we really did get Tony Schiavone and everything today. Wow. All right, we had another segment with Death Triangle and Tony Schiavone. Why am I surprised? I watched the show. I literally said this at the top of the stream. Now I'm coming on here like I'm just finding out right now. Death Triangle and Tony Schiavone. Pac essentially accepts the challenge from Andrade, even though it wasn't really a challenge, though. It was Chavo. Okay, so Pac says that he accepts a challenge from Andrade, right? But if I remember correctly, Andrade never issued the challenge. It was Chavo who said that Andrade should challenge Pac. And then Andrade basically told him, like, hold the phone, bro. Like, I make the decisions around here. Whatever. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't understand. I don't know. But the point is that Pac says he accepts the challenge. But then instead, Andrade and his guys coming out and they tell him like, all right, cool. But we're only going to do this match if you accept my conditions because I have a lot of conditions. And he really did have a lot of conditions. He literally handed him like all the Harry Potter books. Not really, but he literally hands him this big giant stack of papers with his conditions for this match. And I swear to God, they better tell us what these conditions are. And there better be more than 3 because unless they wrote long paragraphs, there is a lot of conditions on that big giant stack of paper. But that's pretty much what we got here. I guess we'll find out what the conditions are down the line here. Robert Bailey Jr. says he handed him the entire script for All Out. Probably. And Frank says Ross should be the interviewer at this point because he shouldn't be commentating. Oh, no, I wouldn't even say that. Jim Ross, for a second, I was like, Ross who? I was thinking of another Ross. I think because I've never read anybody just say Ross. I either see Jim Ross or JR. So I was like, who the hell's Ross? Sorry, you threw me off for a second. I was like, what is he talking about? But anyways, Hibamaru says that he feels this feud is missing something. Yeah, it's missing a lot, guys. It's missing a lot. It could be better. We got a super chat from Brandon Rosen. Thank you so much to Brandon who says, I absolutely cannot wait for this tag team eliminator tournament. We'll see some real fun matches. Who do you think ends up facing the Young Bucks? Why didn't I write down all the teams that are in this? Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can really quickly pull this up. But I feel like they definitely mentioned Jurassic Express. Can you guys please confirm that to me? I should have written that down. But I'm going to go with Jurassic Express unless they weren't named. You would think I would have written that down, but I clearly did not do that. So you guys can correct me here on the chat. And the second I get that, I will definitely answer your question, Brandon. Wow, I had one job, guys. Literally, I had one job and I can't even do my job. We got a super chat from Connecting People Through Wrestling who says, just want to hear you say condiciones like Andrade. Condiciones. There you go. Thank you so much to Connecting People Through Wrestling for sending in this super chat. I appreciate it. And all right, I'm gonna go through a couple more comments. See if thank you, Pomi Wrestling. Please take over my show, guys. All right, Jurassic Express, Private Party, Lucha Brothers, and Varsity Blondes. Those are the tag teams in the Eliminator tournament. Thank you so much for having my back here. All right. So looking at these teams, it has to be Jurassic Express, guys. It really does have to be Jurassic Express. Again, the way that they worked this match, they protected them. They had a bunch of obstacles, the Elite being that obstacle, and they deserve a fair shot. I do not think that tonight was a fair shot. So I'm going to say Jurassic Express. And if it's not them, then I'm going to say the Lucha Brothers because I really like the Lucha Brothers. I do like Varsity Blondes and Private Party, but I would also like to see the Lucha Brothers as well. But I'm going to go with Jurassic Express. Thank you so much to Pomi Wrestling for sending this in. Alrighty. And let's see what else we got here. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on for a second after this. So we got a match between Thunder Rosa and Penelope Ford. Thunder Rosa's on a 19-match winning streak. Now she's on a 20-match winning streak. Good for her. This match was a match, guys. Another win for Thunder Rosa. Perfectly fine. This match wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. We did see Thunder Rosa come out. She's chopping Penelope Ford. She does a back elbow on Penelope Ford. She stomps Penelope Ford all at the top of this match. They go to a commercial break. They come back from a commercial break. We see Thunder Rosa hit her with a Death Valley driver. She goes for the pin, but only gets a 2 count. She should have gotten the win there. But Thunder Rosa ends up getting her with a modified sleeper, and that is how she wins this match. Again, just a match, just a win for Thunder Rosa. Nothing other than that. All right, let's talk about the announcements, the matches that were made for next week. Wow, okay, I literally just said this. All right, sorry guys, I'm a little bit on so much going on right now. So, Rampage, the first dance. This answered my question. Wow, AEW Tag Team Eliminator Tournament, Jurassic Express, Private Party. So yes, obviously. Jurassic Express to win this one. I hope so. Jade Cargill versus Kiera Hogan. That's going to be interesting, guys, because that's going to be interesting. I do think that Jade's going to win. Jade's going to win because they're building her up. They seem to be building her up for quite a while now. So that makes sense to have Jade win. And then Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia is also going to be taking place at Rampage. But more importantly, CM Punk. That was not announced, but we can guess that. And then also next week's Dynamite lineup, we have the AEW Tag Team Eliminator Tournament, Lucha Brothers versus the Varsity Blondes. We have Jamie Hayter versus Red Velvet, Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy, and Malachi Black versus Brock Anderson. And I'm going to stick to my guns, guys. And I know this is going to get me heat, and I'm sorry, and I apologize to everybody, but I'm sorry. I have zero interest in this match, like I said at the top of this. And the reason why I have no interest in this, everybody's all telling me like, oh, Denise, is going to be a great squash match. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fantastic squash match. I'm sorry, what? There are a million other guys that could have been in this squash match besides Brock Anderson. All right? I'm sorry, but based on what we've seen from Brock Anderson, we haven't seen anything that has been OMG. Okay? I'm sorry, but I just kind of feel like I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. My apologies. But I have zero interest in this. This is not the match that I want to see Malachi Black in. So Bring on the heat. You know what? I'm sticking to my guns. Bring on the heat. I am 0.0000% interested in this match. I'm sorry. I do not like to rant this way, but that's just the way that it's going to have to be. Oh, we got people agreeing with me. Thank God. Thank God. We got people agreeing with me and people sending in my emoji hating that I'm hating on poor Brock. It's not about that. Impress me. There are so many talents that are coming out and that are so impressive that the bar has just been set a lot higher, guys. The bar is set a lot higher. I watch a lot of wrestling. I've seen a lot of people and a lot of talents, and there's a million other names that I could have seen in the squash match against Malachi Black. We got a comment from MCasp Pedo 64 who says, Brock is going to die. Just another victim for Black. All right. Fine, whatever. Aaron Murray says, express your feelings. I agree with you. Thank you. You know what? There's going to be a lot of people that do not agree with this. That there's still going to be, he's defending his dad like a million weeks later. I forgot that even happened. That was like how long ago that he was, this whole thing happened with his dad? It was like forever ago. I'd forgotten about it already. I don't know anybody who was sitting here thinking, oh, when is he going to get revenge for his dad? I don't know anybody that was saying this. Nobody was coming on my shows asking when he was going to get this revenge. I'm sorry, guys. All right. I'm just reading your guys' comments, guys. All right, I'm trying not to get too distracted here. All right, we got a super chat from Daniel Zambrano who says, it makes no sense that you want to see super. It says, okay, Daniel says, it makes no sense that you want to see super talented up-and-comers get buried, but you do. It's not about that, guys. There could be squash matches that are enjoyable squash matches. You know what? Watch. When this match happens, I want your honest opinion from the people. I hope that this is an entertaining squash match, but I'm curious as to how people are going to feel when the squash match is actually executed. Is it going to be good? Is it not going to be good? I'm going to be curious about that, guys. They can make an entertaining squash match, or they can even just... All right. I've said my piece. Daniel Zambrano getting me all stirred, all riled up with this super chat here. All right. Let's see what else we got here. And we got another one from Chris Benzo who says, well, they're building Malachi versus Cody for the long run. So yeah, I get all of that. I get it. I'm not dumb. I understand that portion of it. We got a comment from Carney Business who says, I'm fine with it. It makes sense given the story, and Brock has looked decent in the ring, especially for being a rookie. What? I don't think so. All right. I can't fully agree with that, guys. Bloody Blue says another Salcedo rant in the books. Oh, people are going to just hate me for this, guys, because I know what people don't like. And what people do, like, this is not me. Okay, heel Denise is in full effect. Oh, God, guys. Miro versus Fuego del Sol was a great squash. Thank you. Thank you so much. Denise is on the money with this. Thank you so much. Miro versus Fuego del Sol, a match that we saw. That could be considered a squash, but it was entertaining, and Fuego del Sol shine. Thank you. See, I knew I was gonna take heat with this, guys, but what can I say? I was expecting it. You know what? Let it be known that at least I had courage to come out here and express my opinions. And people say they like heel Denise. Oh man. All right. I only rant when I really feel it and when it really comes through. And let's see what we got here. Coming from Frying Kirby, who says, I don't think anyone out here is a Brock stan. Why not just wait for the match to happen? You'd be surprised. There was people that were legitimately upset at me that I even said this on Twitter. It was like, God forbid, how could I say that? Well, I said it. Bloody Blue says, Denise, have a Snickers. It's all the stress, guys. The stress is piling on to me. All right. Let's go ahead and move in, guys. We're going to move on because then I'm just going to keep burying my hole even deeper, guys. All right. Let's get into this main event. Actually, before we get into the main event, guys, please, I will be back here Friday on talking about Smackdown and AEW Rampage. I've mentioned this 1 million times, but I'll mention it again because my setup is going to be a little bit different. I am going to have a different microphone, my traveling microphone that's going to make its debut on Friday because I can't take 3 boxes of like audio equipment that Brian and Tony sent to me, like literally 3 boxes. I can't take all this with me. So I got a traveling microphone that I will be using, and I will be taking my lights with me. So I'm going to be packing a lot of you guys should see this actually really quickly. So take a look at this. This here is a posted with all the equipment that I need to take with me to Las Vegas for all of the stuff that I'm shooting. So I'm literally have like a million cords and boxes. I don't even know what else I'm taking. Sticks, lights. I mean, you name it. Everything's coming with me, guys. So anyway, that's why I'm going to have the traveling microphone. But either way, I'm going to be on here Friday doing Rampage and SmackDown. So it'll be a grand old time. We got a super chat from Malcolm Mitchell who says, I presume Ric Flair and Andrade got separate trains back from Mexico. No comment. No comment. My publicist is not here. I have no words for this. Why, Malcolm? Why? Malcolm is getting his money's worth with his super chat. If you did not know what we're talking about, just Google Ric Flair. I'm sure it's on a news article somewhere. Go on Twitter, type in Ric Flair, and you will be blessed with an interesting image. Make of that what you will. Thank you so much to Malcolm Mitchell for making me laugh here. All right, let's move on, guys. Someone says, do not Google. Okay, I should warn you, if you have not seen the image of a potential Ric Flair, because we do not know that is for sure Ric Flair. Ric Flair has denied that it is him, but make of that what you will. Ric Flair has denied that is not him. Getting busy. I don't know how else to say it, but if you have not seen the photograph, protect your eyeballs, take care of your vision. Don't look at the photograph. All right, guys, here we go. According to Ric Flair, he does not ride trains. So make of that what you will. All right, main event time, ladies and gentlemen. MJF versus Chris Jericho in the fifth labor. The stipulation for this that MJF put upon for this match was essentially no Judas effect and no Judas song. So the crowd had to sing, and kudos to that crowd. They started out a little rusty because I don't think they all it's not like you can get an agreement with everybody and say, all right, this is where we're going to start singing. Like, this is the portion of the song where we're going to start at. Personally, if I were there, I wouldn't know where to start. I would just be mumbling words, pretending to sing along because I don't know the words to Judas. But either way, they kind of started off a little like, oof. But once they got to the chorus, they really got it together, and it ended up being an awesome moment. So good job to everybody that was able to sing Chris Jericho's entrance song. This match started off with Jericho taking MJF down at the start of this match, hitting his signature springboard drop kick. We then see MJF taking the camera from the cameraman, and he's putting it, you can see he's flipping the bird to the crowd. So we do get to see a little bit of that interaction. They go back and forth here. We see Jericho hit the lion salt on MJF. Obviously, we're bound to see that. To be honest, guys, this match, I'm not going to come out here and say that this was the greatest match ever, because it wasn't. It was an average match that got amplified by a really hot crowd. Houston, Texas, this crowd made this match feel better, feel more, not more important. It just made it more entertaining. They made it feel like a better match than it was because they were so into this match, so into it. But if you were to eliminate the crowd, to me, it was an average match. But the crowd really made it extra special. And so kudos from them. towards the end of this match was when I thought that it really started getting a little bit better, a little bit better for sure. We saw a hurricane running from Jericho. We saw MJF get Jericho in the Fujiwara armbar. We see MJF and Jericho exchange rights and lefts. And then there's a point in this match where Jericho goes for the Judas effect, but he remembers that he cannot use it. So instead, MJF uses it. And then later on, we do see MJF getting him in the armbar again, and Jericho ends up tapping out here. And that is essentially how this match ends. I was surprised that Chris Jericho lost this match. I was not expecting it whatsoever. I really did think that he was going to win. I don't know where they go from here. I do not know where they go from here. If you guys have any suggestions, send them in. Let's see what you guys all thought about this. We got a super chat from T5 The Great who says, the squash match makes sense, makes Black seem dangerous with everyone trying to warn Brock he's not ready, including Denise Salcedo. Even I'm warning him. This is a warning. Thank you so much to T5 The Great for sending in this super chat. And I'm going to fast. We got another super chat from Daniel Zambrano who says, my apologies for heel turning you, D. I thought Jericho looked great at MJF is so good at heel wrestling. Hell yeah. MJF and Jericho, they have a special something to them. They got a lot of chemistry between them, and it's not just, on the microphone, it's also in the ring where like they can get people to get all wild about this match that I said I thought was an average match. But because it was MJF and it was Jericho in the ring together, I think that's what really just made the crowd feel even more excited. And I think the people really liked like the five labors and all of that. I was a fan of the concept and the idea of having Jericho doing all these different matches and these different stipulations. That was fun. I thought it was creative. And, we got some really good stuff out of it, including that match with Nick Gage. So I do think that the fans were into it simply because it was Chris Jericho and MJF. We have a comment from Aaron Murray who says, I feel Jericho will eventually put his career on the line against MJF. MJF will get the win again. Chris is going to be a full-time AEW commentator. Has Jericho said how long he still wants to wrestle for? I feel like I've gotten different answers, but I'll probably have to check up on that again. But I feel like Jericho's going to go as long as he can possibly go. I don't know. I do think that there have been a couple of people that have like assumed that this is going to end up with Jericho putting his career on the line, but I don't know if this is going to be like his retirement feud. I don't feel like it is, but there have been some people where they have thought that this was going to happen. We got a comment from Curse who also says that they did not see Jericho losing and it was such a surprise. Twitch Face 4 says this is clearly leading to Jericho versus MJF in an epic no one can use the Judas effect match. And the Keys Boost says the right guy won the match. Hebo Morrow says they think they may lead to a retirement match at All Out. We got a super chat from Jay Repsol who says, are we seeing Punk or not in Chicago on Friday, Denise? Oh, I feel like I have to have like a for sure answer. You know what, Jay? I'll tell you what. If CM Punk does not debut on Rampage this week, you can personally come at me and be like, what the hell, Denise? You said, well, I didn't say, but based on everything that's happening, I am 113% sure that CM Punk will be at Rampage. So if he's not, all you people watching this show can come at me and blame me if he does not come out on Rampage. I will take the heat. Thank you so much to Jay Rapsel for sending in this super chat. I appreciate it. All right, and I'm going to go through a couple more comments here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. We got another super chat from Brandon Rosen who says, the main event seemed like it was just setting up another match versus MJF at All Out. I always thought this match would end up on that card anyway. But wait, didn't they say, though, hold the phone here. Didn't they say that MJF said that if Jericho did not beat him in this fifth labor, that he could never have a match with him again, or he could never... Yeah, he said he was never going to give Jericho another match, though. Like, that was, like, the whole thing, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Send this in, guys. I'm pretty positive on this, unless I misunderstood. But thank you so much to Brandon Rosen for sending in the super chat. We got another super chat from Malcolm Mitchell who says, fantasy booking for Punk on Friday, Denise? Dude, I don't know, man. Like, they got... I will say this, because we've known about CM Punk heading to AEW for a while now, I think that people have very, very high expectations. So now, like, I think they got to come up with a really brilliant way to introduce CM Punk into AEW Rampage, because you're going to have people that are going to be excited, but it's going to be like, they got to do it in a really cool way. Like, I feel like if it were me and I was running the company, I'd be a little nervous. Like, man, I got to make sure I really deliver with this, CM Punk debut, because this is a moment that has been talked about now for weeks. People have been excited about it, and people have really been, like you said, fantasy booking. And in a world right now where you really can't please everybody, they do got a lot of stakes running on this. I'm very curious to see how they're going to present CM Punk on Rampage. And I feel like we have to see him, like, they've been teasing this whole thing with Darby Allin, right? So I feel like he's definitely somebody that's in that you would see him maybe confront or challenge or something. I don't know. But then at the same time, everybody's like, well, what about Kenny Omega? And there's just so many different directions that they can go. So I don't know. I do not know what the right call is to make here. And that's the thing. Like, if let's say I wasn't an AEW fan, and let's say I didn't watch the product, let's say I was like anti AEW, I would come in just to watch out of curiosity of how they're going to execute CM Punk's AEW debut. At the end of the day, that curiosity is there. Thank you so much to Malcolm Mitchell for sending in the super chat. Another super chat from Brandon Rosen, who says, if CM Punk doesn't debut this Friday, the people in Chicago better lock their doors and windows because the fans will riot. That would be horrible. I will just tell you that much. I think that a lot of people would be so angry, like legitimately angry. I would be terrified of what that would look like. But at the same time, because I like violence, I would be curious to see what that would look like. But you get what I mean. Thank you so much to Brandon for sending in this super chat. I really thank you for that as well. And all right, I'm going to go through a couple more comments. This is one from Chris Benzo, who says, I assume that if Jericho was thinking to end his career after this feud with MJF, he would have participated his new book. Wow, I don't know how to read. His new book with all his matches. Oh, I see what you mean. All right. I got it. All right, let me go through a couple more comments here. We got another one, a super chat from T5 DeGreat, who says, I knew MJF was winning when Sammy beat Spears. Sammy goes after MJF at All Out. Boom. I do want to see that. That's a match that I would definitely want to see. I'm not opposed to that. I would like that. Thank you so much to T5 Doug Great for sending this in here. And let's see what else we got here. Oh my God. This one's from JT098, who says Darby should invade his viewing party and lay down a challenge, and Punk shows up at the end of the show. I don't know if people would want for CM Punk to essentially, come out all the way to the end of the show. I actually think that they should do something where he comes out at the beginning and it plays into something at the end. That would probably be the best way. But then again, I do not know what they're going to do, guys. I do not know. Breath of War says, people who are worried that Punk is not showing up are killing me. He's showing up, guys. He's showing up. I'm confident in this. And I think a lot of people are too. At this point, if he wasn't coming up, I would be doing everything possible to make sure he was coming out. I'll say that much. A lot of people are saying, what if CM Punk doesn't show up? Oh my God, guys. Bloody Blue says, lights out, Chicago Bulls entrance music hits, then cult of personality, and the place goes wild. We got a super chat from Connor Delaney, who says, how do you think Punk will debut on Rampage? A lot of people are asking me this. Is this kind of something that I just touched on? I do not know, guys. I don't know. I want to be like excited about this. I'm excited about this, but I want to be surprised too. Like I want them to do it in a way where, like, part of me, like my prediction is kind of boring. It's more just like Rampage starts and then bam, you just hear like CM Punk's music and bam, he comes out. But that's kind of boring. Or maybe it's not boring. I don't know. To me, it's not boring. I think that would be interesting. And then maybe he can come out and be like, people have been talking about me. No, that's a little lame. Let me come up with something better. Again, they could do something with Darby. What do they got announced? Let me go back up. All right. So we got Rampage. The match is announced. Jurassic Express, Private Party, Jade Cargill, Kira, John Moxley, Daniel Garcia. See, like there isn't even anything here where I'm like, oh, this is where he would come in for this. There's nothing there that screams this is where he would come in with this. So, man, I don't have a good answer for you, Connor. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry for the terrible answer. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we got people with more. Oh, someone says my option's not boring. Says that's not boring. That's how it should be. All right. So I guess it's not a boring idea. Let's see what else we got here. Nick A says, calling it now. Sammy steps up to MJF to avenge Jericho, and he'll succeed when Jericho failed. Someone's asking about Brian. I heard the rumor for him is supposed to be at supposedly the Arthur Ashe show is what a lot of people think. But again, I do not know. And Alex Lynn just basically says they could literally do anything. They really can. EJ Lopez says, start the show with Punk coming out as a special guest host commentator and gets challenged by Darby. I wouldn't say having him come out as a host commentator. No, like you want to establish that he's there to be a wrestler, to be a talent, to be a performer, not necessarily to be a host or a commentator by any means. So you got to hit it home right away. Like he's here because he's, I don't know, there to challenge Kenny Omega or something. That would be something that it's got to be like that. It can't be any other way, I think. We got people saying that he should come out at the end. Oh my God. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Let's see what else we got. There's so many options, guys, here. I'm trying to go through all of your comments here. We got one from Ryan T who says Punk debuts at the beginning. You got to have something else big with it. Yeah, you got to have something else big with it. That's why I kind of felt like my idea was a little vanilla. It really was. Skippy says, damn girl, I see you tweeting about Ric Flair. Baby girl, I only got one thing to say to you. If you want to holla at a jet riding, wheeling, dealing, Rolex wearing, son of a gun, holla. If you hear me, I appreciate the comedy here, Skippy. I appreciate it. And Mad Huff says, Denise is not good at fantasy booking. Hey, I liked the way I fantasy booked Brock Lesnar's retirement with WWE, okay? That's a whole other topic for a whole other time, but we got somebody saying Punk in the beginning, Braun at the end. Oh my God, guys. Alpha Hawk says, TK says he's hired Punk, but only as an enforcer to break up all the backstage fights. Oh, that would be terrible too. I wouldn't be a fan of that either. Oh my God. Someone says that the card for Rampage isn't that great. No, I mean, aside from Jurassic Express versus Private Party, that's really the only match that I'm looking forward to. But it's a 1 hour show, guys. And based on what they did with last week's 1 hour show, it's really good. I think they'll find a way to make it really good, excuse me. And obviously with CM Punk, it's bound to be good. And we got Malcolm Mitchell saying AJ Lee debuts at the beginning and Punk at the end. Marky Dark says he's going to come in casually drinking a Pepsi during someone else's segment as the show goes off the air. Or he's like in the crowd just chilling, drinking a Pepsi or something. That's like, oh, CM Punk's here. Hey, surprise. All right, clearly none of us are getting hired to be part of the creative team anytime soon. But either way, guys, that is my show. We could really be here forever trying to fantasy book. But at the end of the day, we're going to find out on Friday how they're going to introduce CM Punk into Rampage. Either that or the entire city of Chicago and every wrestling fan around the world is going to riot. Guys, thank you so much for joining my show. I will see you guys on Friday. I really hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And again, this Friday, I will be live from my hotel room in Las Vegas. And if you want to make sure, if you want to follow up with everything that's going on in SummerSlam this weekend, I will be at every WWE SummerSlam related media event this weekend. Starting tomorrow, I will be covering everything. So make sure you are following me on Twitter or on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo, because I will be giving you guys the insight on all of that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all on Friday. Bye, everyone. Take care.